everyone. Today we got to play Wacky Wacky West. So this is a tile placement game that you're trying to build different roads across the plains and trying not to cover up your buildings in the process. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because you love board games and you know you like westerns. So you want to be...
Or roads.
Or roads.
Or rivers. You know. Or railroads. Lots of things.
Lots of things. All right. Before we get into it, tell us more about this particular game, Randy.
This game was released in 1991. It has a Board Game Geek rank of 3,042 and a rating of 6.3. It is 2 to 4 players. It lasts 30 to 45 minutes, which is about right. Age 9 and up. That's probably
right.
Good. Designer was Klaus Teuber of Settlers of Catan fame. Artists were Chris McLaughlin and Franz Vollwinkle. We had a game by Franz Vollwinkle's art the other day. I don't remember which one it was, but we had one.
We go through a lot of games.
Yeah. It was published by Mayfair Games and Hans Im Gluck, and it is out of print, because Mayfair is out of print. But it was on Board Game Geek available for $50 through the Geek Market.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's talk about quality of pieces. You have the sorry meeples.
They're wooden though. They're not plastic.
But they're literally the same. And no, they're plastic.
They're plastic? Okay.
Yeah, you
they're
can
plastic.
tell, look at the blow mold.
They're plastic.
Okay, so literally they're the same shape as the sorry ones. They're just a different color.
No, sorry ones are rounded at the bottom. They're not the same shape. These look like maracas with a little thing on them. They don't shake and make noise.
It was the sorry that I played.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you had a defective sorry.
Give up on them now. All right, so you have the sorry meeples, player tokens, and then you have these cardboard tiles.
They're very, meh.
I mean, my thing is they're white on the back. Like, how lame is that? Like, you can't even... And then the artwork, well, we're not going to get into artwork, that's scene. So, quality of pieces, I can't give this any more than a 5.
I don't think it's a 5. I think it's a 4.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The cards are pretty flimsy.
Yeah, there's no one in finish. Yeah, I agree with the 4. That's fine. 4 sounds good. I mean, it's playable.
Yeah.
It's just nothing fantastic.
No, Catan has better pieces.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then let's move on to theme. So the theme is obviously you're trying to traverse the West through different traveling abilities. So you can go through the river, create the railroad, go through the road, and you're trying to get from hither to thither and trying not to run over your buildings.
Well, that and trying to run over other people's buildings.
Yeah, that's the goal.
The goal is to keep your building safe.
Yeah.
So you get points at the end for however many buildings you have.
Really the goal is to make sure that people don't know what buildings your buildings. So theme-wise,
it's very cartoony.
Okay, listen, I do not care for this art.
I didn't like the art either.
The roads, they're all like this bland. It was really hard to differentiate. Like the roads were just all. Couldn't tell where the roads led because they're all like the same color.
They are kind of a hodgepodge mess. The railroads aren't as bad, and the rivers aren't as bad.
But even then, the road, I just don't like them. Like it's so bland. I'm not a fan of the art. At least the color palette. I think the color palette.
It's Western. I mean, what color are you going to have? It's brown. It's a desert.
I know, but there's different shades of brown, not this icky tan on everything.
Yeah, it's not exciting, that's for sure.
So overall for theme, what are you going to give it?
I mean...
I don't want to be too critical.
The art isn't good. I'll give you that. I'm not a fan of it anyway. It is cartoonish, and I kind of like the cartoonishness of it, but because it's supposed to be Wacky Wacky West, it reminds me of like Wacky Racers and... But
this art ain't horrible.
No, the cards aren't. I mean, the characters are okay.
Okay, that's not great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's mediocre. Okay, so
I'm probably a 4 on this.
Oh, good. I didn't.
No, I'm not.
I'm just saying I wanted to do 4 too, but I didn't want to be like the mean evil person.
No, I mean it's not. It's not even up to the standard of Catan as far as the
it's
art.
just really lackluster. All right, so now let's talk about actual rules.
So the
So the rules lie to you because they say may, and it's not may. It's required.
The rules are 4 pages long. Very simple game.
It lied to me.
This is a simple game. So somebody had to place a tile, and it covered her own building.
I didn't
she was
appreciate
bitter
that.
about that because I made her do it.
Yeah, because he could have just finished it. He could have done it, and it
But
could have
it
been
was
over.
more fun to seek revenge by making you place a tile on your own building.
You were attacking. We have problems. My mother won because he wouldn't leave me alone the whole game.
So anyway, we're talking about the rules. We're not talking about vengeance right now. That's a different section.
You don't know me very well.
So the rules, again, are 4 pages long. Very simple read. It does not specifically call out in the rules that you must play a tile, but you do. And we looked it up online and got confirmation.
Says may, it lies.
I will give the rules a 7. They're fine. They're not exciting. The rules are very generically colored. There's nothing just to make them stand out. But the rules are so simple for this game that you couldn't really mess it up unless you were trying to avoid playing the tile or your own building. So, moving on to gameplay.
People person. All right, so it's pretty straightforward. You get a bunch of tiles at the beginning of the game. It gets divided up, and then the first player chooses a road. So as you place them where the, like for example, in this particular one, you always put the wagon closest to the tile that you're going, and you cannot shift the tiles. Like you have to continue going straight.
It's basically dominoes. You're playing a game of dominoes.
Yeah. So you play that and you go around and everyone plays the tile and you're trying to, traverse the Wild West. The key thing is though you don't want your buildings covered. However, as soon as people find out what your buildings are, they go after you pretty hardcore. So
yes, especially when you tell people what your buildings are.
I didn't tell you.
I'm not talking about you. I was talking about your mom.
Yeah, but she still won.
Yes, because we felt sympathy for her and felt vengeance
you
towards each other.
It's true.
You gained for my color
well,
right away.
Maybe you shouldn't have chosen purple.
I didn't choose purple. It chose me. So anyway, the only real variant to this is the fact that when you play a tile across an outhouse, which are scattered across the board, it requires a vote. So you have voting cards that have yeses, nos, which are actually represented by pluses and minuses. And you have, anytime you spend a card, it is removed from your hand.
Except for the question mark.
Except for the question mark, which basically is abstaining from the vote. The only variant.
I wish I would have known that the first couple times because I wish I could have used it. But
yeah, the only thing with the question marks is if everybody plays a question mark, it is automatically a yes.
Yeah.
So other than that, there's one card in there that is a wild that lets you play after the fact and decide. You play it, but you decide after if it's a plus, 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 or minus, minus. So it's yes, yes, or no, no. But other than that, they're all yeses or all nos. And they can be up to 3 strength or 1 strength. Mm-hmm. So you're basically trying to get the roads and rivers and railroads to meander away from your buildings, which Miranda did very effectively for the first half of the game.
And then they all realize that, oh wait, none of Orange is covered. It must be Miranda. So they just tackled me hardcore, and it made me really sad. I
think it's the only way to actually strategically play this game is to run over your own buildings early and try to get people to think that you're not that color so that they don't worry about it. Because it didn't feel like there was much strategy in this at all. It was just play tiles and hope that your numbers don't get covered. That was basically it.
Well, I think I did pretty good strategy-wise until y'all figured out it was me.
Yes, but I had already suspected it was you, but every time I would play, you were able to block it somehow.
I know, it was so beautiful.
And then your mom didn't help because I had to play through her, so every time I would set something up, she would play it and take it a different direction because her buildings happened to be close to yours, and they weren't even getting run over.
Yeah, well, she's just guarding her stuff. She ended up winning.
She guarded your stuff.
I was okay with that until you ruined it all.
Yeah.
Well, guys, overall, this was a cute little game. We had, we were talking a lot of smack. Is it something fantastic that I'm going to pull out again? Probably not. But it was fun while we played it. Will I remember this in next week? No. I mean, if it lasts through the week, I'll be, hey, my brain's doing pretty good today. Overall score-wise, I'd probably give this a 5. What about you?
I'm probably a 4.5. I think I liked it slightly less than just playing Catan, so it wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. It was something to do for 60 minutes or less.
It was. It existed.
Yes.
It does exist.
Yes. The same as dominoes. Nothing that's going to excite me.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We had a fun time harassing each other. So hopefully we'll catch you guys again. Bye.
Bye.